Hello everyone. Clearly, I'm really excited for Christmas this year, considering my last video was me decorating for Christmas, and a lot of it was Scandinavian inspired, mostly Swedish and Norwegian. And you can see some of the little guys, little bits and bobs that were from my grandma. And I have been wanting to make something painting wise in that same vein for a while. I just haven't made the time. So before the crazy holiday season, I wanted to make something for myself, and that's a Valkommen sign. And I had one growing up. My parents had one growing up hanging above the door, and I've always wanted one, and so we're finally doing it. Let me grab the sketch for it. This is the sketch that I made, and it's the Norwegian spelling of it, and it means welcome. I was heavily debating between the Swedish and Norwegian spelling of it. My parents have the Swedish spelling of it, but I had already written this out, and I could have easily changed it, but we just committed to it. And considering the style that I'm painting it with is Rosemaling, which is mostly Norwegian, I decided to just go that route. This sweater is actually from was somebody's in my family's. I'm not sure whose, but it got me in the Christmas spirit, so I put it on. But it was in the hope chest that I dug through in the last video, pulling out items from. So that was a pleasant surprise that I kind of forgot about. But yeah, so we have, similar to the dresser that I painted, we have the flowers and the scrolls and sorts of things on there. And yeah, I'm really excited to have something of my own. And I think it's really important to make things for yourself during the holiday season, especially as a creative person. You can kind of get carried away with making things for people, which is fun and great, and I love doing that. That is my preferred gift giving. I would love to make everybody their gifts. It's just not always possible. But it's also important to make time for yourself to be creative in your own world and way, and not for other people. And so that's kind of what this project was all about. As I'm sure you're well aware, I'm really kind of, and always have been, interested in Scandinavian culture. That's clearly who I am. And I just want to learn more about it. And painting the little stool bench thing was the first step in doing it creatively. And that was like a test piece in order to make my big dresser that I now have and love and am super proud of. And so I just want to further my education in that sense, because there are a lot of rules and more like guidelines for Rosemaling and the history behind it. So I'm obviously still learning, and the things that I'm painting is not really traditional. It's more modern style, I would say. I would love to learn more about the more traditional style, but it is difficult learning on your own. And there are classes back home in Minnesota about the history and how to do it and the guidelines for it, but there's not really any out here in Montana. And so it's a lot of self-discovery, YouTube videos, and that sort of thing. So I'm still learning, but I'm really proud of how far I've come, because I feel like it isn't, or at least I don't see it very often in younger people that are painting in this style. It's usually older generation, so I think it'd be cool to kind of at least help keep some of it alive. And it's a lot of people can lose their history and culture pretty quickly. I'm really working hard to kind of keep that alive for at least me and my family because I think it's important and I just love learning family history and that sort of thing. So I did use carbon paper to transfer my design onto this piece of wood because I wanted it to be symmetrical, and it didn't need to be perfect, but I wanted it to look nice when I'm looking at it. And so that's what I did with my dresser, and so that's what I'm doing with this. And I keep my Rosemaling or a lot of the designs up year round because it isn't just a Christmas thing, it is a year round art form. And so I will be keeping this sign up just like I keep my dresser, just like I keep that bench, and just keeping that around, and it makes me really happy to see it. So I think I would really love to do a collection more based on this style of painting. I did incorporate some of it into my Western Montana landscape collection, and prints for that are available on my Etsy. I'll link it also. And I incorporated it in the frames of each of the painting. They are on the more Western style of things, and not like true Rosemaling. So I think it'd be cool to do a collection more geared towards the folk art. I think people would like it, or at least I would. And so I'll probably make another collection doing that. I do have my collection on my Etsy of some Rosemaling on totes. I have ornaments available and mugs available. So there's a few options to go look at and shop now. But hopefully in the future I'll have some paintings and prints that will be available, which would be really awesome. There's a ton of different folk arts throughout the world, and it is interesting to see the different kind of styles. A lot of them are very similar, but they are still distinct from each other. And if you know what you're looking for, then you can tell kind of where it's from, which is so wonderful and why art is important. It keeps cultures alive and it just communicates things totally differently than it would otherwise. The sign is all finished, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I do wish that I created a little bit more contrast in the scrolls themselves. And I suppose I could go back and darken them up, but I think I'm just going to leave it. I am really happy with the design. and the colors. I just love these colors together, and that is a more like traditional colors to be using. I do want to make different colored ones because I feel like I keep doing the dark blue navy base with the red trim on everything. I made this little like jewelry case. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. And it's all the kind of same color. So everything goes together, which is really nice. But I do want to create a little bit more variety, I think. It makes me really happy that I have this now, and I'll have to decide where I want to hang it because typically, I mean, it's a welcome sign, so you want it in your entryway. So we'll see what I decide with that. But I cannot stress enough how important it is to take time for yourself to be creative and not for anybody else, not for profit, not for anything, but just enjoyment for yourself. Because you do get caught up in feeling like it is solely just work, and you need to have some play in there too. So please make time for yourself this season, and always. I mean, that should always be a thing, but especially now. I hope you enjoyed watching. Like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, everyone.